How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and Auto Camp, I just slept under them. Picture me serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This Friday, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back to switch things up in Disney's Freakier Friday.
OMG, yes.
It's an absolute riot.
Woo!
And the only movie that can be described as
So much weirder than the last time. What last time?
it's the frequel
You ready?
we've been waiting for.
That absolutely slays.
What deeply out-of-touch old person came up with that?
You did.
Wow.
Don't miss the comedy event of the summer for all ages. Disney's Freakier Friday in theaters this Friday. Get tickets now. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
Pie in the Sky Media. This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence throughout. Listener discretion is advised.
Three, two, one. So much drama around this
Llama.
episode. Hopefully, astute, eagle-eared listeners have noticed something new at the top of our episodes. They say, Carolyn, if you will please.
What?
Pie in the Sky Media. Congratulations.
You're just doing lots of drama bombs.
Congratulations.
Okay, for those of you who can't see, Branden has a freaking mischievous grin about a mile long, and now he's trying to hide behind it. And it's like he loves just like.
No, I'm very happy that you're happy that Carolyn is hanging her own shingle, and she was gracious enough to drag me along with her into her new endeavor, Pie in the Sky Media.
Kicking and screaming.
Kicking and screaming.
Pretending.
And I am humbled and happy to be a part of it. And I just wanted to congratulate you on going your own way. Good for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And here's to success and interesting work and pride and passion and everything that you do, which you bring to your work. And like I said, I'm happy to be a small part of it. And let's keep it rolling. All right.
Yes.
Great. So sadness is how I feel listening to this episode. Sadness for Melinda, right? Like over and over again, just the shit that she had to wade through just to have, to have a life. And I think it speaks to you mentioned the triumph of the human spirit. You mentioned that in the episode and the strength of her character and the courage of her convictions. So let's jump right into it. How did this story get on your radar?
I actually was given this story told about this story by my literary agent. And she was like, you have got to hear this woman's story. And she started, telling me a little bit. And these are the type of women that I just, and men too, but we're talking about a woman. So, and especially when you turn, the saying lemons into lemonade doesn't quite do it at all.
Yeah.
Wait until you hear the entire story. And I was only planning on doing one episode, but it was so compelling. And I really wanted to tell her story because for me, her beginning story really sets the stage for when you ask that question, why do people do what they do? And it's the negative thing, right? We're talking about serial killers. Like when you look at her story, why people do why do people do what they do? It's like this, I'm going to do it and get justice and do whatever I can there's so many layers to it. So
Yeah, I mean, I want there to be a full like 10-part limited podcast series about these illegal adoptions. You have $1,000 and shut your
Yeah.
fucking mouth, and here's a baby, and get the hell out of here. I mean, that's whoo.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't even have, and with her story is so layered. Her life is so layered that she actually, when she's been on many shows, she's been on like Dateline, she's been on Forensic Files, a lot of different
Yeah.
shows about this case. They don't even include the Hicks baby. That's what it's called. So-called Hicks baby adoptions or black market babies. I don't even know if that's the term. I mean, it doesn't sound right, but anyway, illegal adoptions. They don't even bring this up because the other story is so involved that it's kind of like, so she's lived a life that requires, they can't even include this huge piece, which I'm going to touch a little bit on it in episode 2, because that's where she understood how important DNA was based on her research of trying to find her birth parents and finding out this Hicks baby situation with the adoptions.
Gosh. And watching and experiencing the abuse that her mother endured, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beaten blind.
That
happens to boxers, Carolyn. Okay. You know what I mean?
That's why I said I couldn't, when she was telling me that she was blind, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, wait a sec. I mean, I believed it, of course, but I was trying to mentally picture how would that work? Right. Yeah. And when she said beat a couple of times and then her retinas,
retina. Yeah.
I mean, and then this person wasn't even in trouble, didn't have to do anything. She had to live with it. She had to endure it and wait so she could probably afford the surgery and, blind for 2 years. I mean.
And then what was this when she said he never came back after that, when she threatened to kill him?
When she was 14.
Yep.
With the step.
Yep.
Now, I don't know which partner.
Right. Because she had like 3 or 4 more stepdads after that.
Right. So I don't know.
It was the one, I wrote this down. She said he was this fake religious guy whose biggest fear was fear of exposure within his own congregation.
Yeah. I mean, that tracks.
That God, does that track? Of course. She reminded me of one of the first shows I ever produced was with a Navy SEAL. And he would tell these amazing stories, a lot of them going back to the SEAL training, which is, legendary for being the most difficult of the armed forces, right? To get through it.
Yeah.
And he says,
I get claustrophobia just thinking about that SEAL training because I've heard a little about it. It's serious training. So
the first time he went in, he broke his leg with a week to go and had to start over.
Oh,
6 months later, comes back. Second time through, with like 3 days left.
I can't.
Second time through with like 3 days left, he gets hit by a boat in rough seas and fractures his skull, has to drop out again. So he has to go through it 3 times. All right. But he did it. He made it.
And that just shows the dedication of people who want, there's more.
There's more. This is what he told me. And this has stayed with me ever since. He said on the first day of SEAL training, everybody's kind of sizing each other up. Right. And in one of his classes, there were these standout, like, go fuck yourself athletes, right? Like collegiate, like marathon champions and decathletes, who were just running circles around everybody on the long runs and and all this kind of stuff. Right. And we're like, they're going to run away with this. They're going to be, he said, but as soon as it got hard, they were the first guys to ring the bell because nothing was ever difficult for them in their lives. Right. He said, and then next to me in line was the short little kind of weird looking, like kind of squatty dude who never made a fucking sound. Okay. But sailed through training. He goes, and I asked him, I said, what? It's like you were on vacation. He goes, do you know what I've been through in my life? Do you know how many times I've been bullied or I've been like shit on or smacked around? This is nothing. A guy yells at me and I'm going to be cold for a few days in the water. It's fucking nothing compared to what I've been through. And I was like, holy shit. Like, you don't know what someone can endure based on what, their past has been. Okay. And so when you say, why do people do what they do? Right. like this type of a fight that Melinda was going through, which may seem like fucking Everest to you and me, is like Tuesday for her with stepdad number 4. You know what I mean?
No, I do. And I'm so glad that you made that comparison, because I think oftentimes, people can get labeled as damaged goods because of their history, their past, their shame. They don't want to talk about it. And that's fine. That a person can choose to tell their story or not. But these things that happen to us sometimes, it's horrible that it happened, but greatness can come from it because of your experience, because you can endure, because you are resilient. And, I think that, there's a lesson here, and I really wanted to tell that story. So that really makes me really happy that you would compare what, a courageous thing that she did, through the sadness.
I'm not convinced that it's courage, right? I think it's, that cliches become cliche for a reason, right? Because they're true. That hard times don't build character, they reveal character. Mm-hmm. So it's like with this guy in the SEALs, you know what I mean? Like he didn't find this wellspring of strength on, the third day of Hell Week when he hasn't slept and there's no food and he's got to do a 6-mile swim in rough seas in 40-degree water, right? No, that part of him was already forged somewhere, little by little, over the previous 18 years of his life, So for her, steel sharpens steel, you know what I mean? Like she already was that, and all of these incidents like just made her stronger and stronger. So,
but I'm saying, like, I think that it's, I guess the comparison is compelling to me because as women, we often don't get compared to being courageous and having that grit and that fortitude. And so with her, not only is she going up against, her childhood and all of that, her shoulders, but on top of that, the gaslighting, you don't know what you're doing, all this stuff that women have to endure. And you are like, and that's the courage part for me, because that is so difficult, because you're going up against your own mindset of like, am I out of my lane? Should I not be doing this?
Right. Your own learned behavior of what you can accept and what you're owed, what you deserve.
It's like, I have to do this because it's the right thing to do. I'm sorry, I'm getting super passionate because
it's okay. It's okay.
I just feel like these stories, even though they're painful to hear, they're really important. Yeah. And I'm so glad that she's an advocate and will help a lot of people through her work. We've kind of scooped our plot here because
no, it's okay. It's okay. But look where she took a lot of her cues from. Probably her mom was a big fan of Chuck Norris. Boom, done. There you go.
Boom.
Walker, Texas Ranger. You know what they say? When Chuck Norris does push-ups, he's not pushing himself up. He's pushing the earth down.
I don't know a lot about Chuck Norris. So I'm like,
excuse me?
I'm sorry. Is that wrong?
Are you a communist? You don't know a lot about Chuck Norris?
I know about Chuck Norris, but like I know more about Rambo. I know more about Sylvester. I mean, that's kind of more our generation. I mean, Chuck Norris. Okay, I'm not even judging by the look on your face that I'm totally out of. I will tell you straight up. I'm going to take the wind out of your sails and say, I'm sorry I don't know Chuck Norris, but he didn't have that much of an impact on my life. Okay.
It's like saying you don't know much about Frank Sinatra, right? That's what it's tantamount.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Well, what? I thought that your Zoom had paused because you were so like.
No, I short-circuited in my brain. You don't know a lot about Chuck Norris.
I'm sorry. What? What is there to know? Tell us.
Karate. Okay. Every man thinks karate lives within him somewhere. Okay. And that if he needs to, he can draw on some unknown, unrehearsed skill and beat Chuck Norris and give a flying front kick to the side of the face.
We've known each other for over a year now. And this is the first time that you've said that karate is part of your
fantasy life. Part of my fantasy life.
But what is your fantasy? That all of a sudden you're just like, somebody's going to come up to you and you're just going to be like,
yes,
Chuck Norris.
Yes. Chuck Norris, Enter the Dragon. The man fought Bruce Lee. That's how long he's been around. So he predates Rambo by a generation. Okay. Like before Stallone did anything, Chuck Norris did everything.
All right.
Okay. He was doing war movies, rescuing people. He was in some classic World War II films. He was in classic Vietnam movies.
Okay, well, what was your favorite that he was in? Maybe I've seen that movie.
So he did a movie about as a Texas Ranger before he played Walker Texas Ranger. Okay.
Oh my gosh, you know his lore.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's done so many. All right, just here's what we'll do. I'll give you a watch list for Chuck Norris and just educate yourself a little bit. Get past the cheese. Get past the one-liners.
Oh my gosh.
Get past
myself.
Get past the hair vest because he's very chest hairy as a man. Okay. He's an American treasure. And I say that without exaggeration. He really is. He was like the first real, like he was up there like with Charles Bronson as far as like action stars go, but he actually had a skill set and that he worked on. He's like a legit martial artist for like his entire life. Okay. And so, yes, Karate Dreams by Chuck Norris.
We'll be back after a quick break.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love, starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
It's summer. Time to enjoy long days, lazy nights, and great food. Because Uber Eats has deals all summer long. So, when hunger strikes, don't sweat it. Delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite grocery items delivered straight to you. Get ice cream, soda, and snacks from your favorite stores like Wegmans and CVS and make the most of every moment. Now that sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
I'm just trying to picture you doing some moves.
Yeah, picture it. Keep picturing it because it could happen. Now you're laughing at me. You're laughing at my karate dreams. Fine, go ahead.
Okay, so do you have nunchucks?
I did when I was young.
Okay. Do you have the stars?
I also had those when I was young.
And did you have them like as a centerpiece to your room?
No, I didn't have them. I did not have them as a centerpiece in my room. I was only allowed to throw them in the woods, which I did. But there was no karate dojo in my hometown, so I never really like took it like really serious. But I got my mom once when I was like 9 to buy me the karate outfit, the gi it's called.
Gi?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would put it on and I would like do stuff. Right.
But see, with your personality, I don't know if you could, there's a lot of respect in karate and the master.
100%. Yeah.
I feel like you rub up against authority. Would that how would that work with you?
I don't know. I think I could use it. I could need it a little bit because no karate outside the dojo. That's a big rule. Okay. My niece is real into karate. She's like 10. She's been doing it for a long time. See, but my brother ruined my karate dreams when I was like 10 because I put on the gi. I had like a book, a mail order like karate book, and I would work on like a routine. And I'd go to my brother, who's like 3.5 years older than me, right? And I would say, "All right, his name's Blue, like the color blue, right?"
No. You're doing these moves.
I'm doing
like
moves. I'm blocking and striking, block and strike. Okay, so I would get this routine together and I'd be like, all right, Blue, I'm ready. And my mom would be there. I'm like, all right. So what you do is come in and like go for an overhand, like strike to the face. And I'm going to block it. And he'd be like, okay. And he would do the other side and just hit me. Right. And I'd cry. I'm like, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to come at me like this. And he'd say, in a real fight, people aren't going to hit you the way you want them to hit you. You got to be ready. And then he like punched me in the stomach and I'd cry again and he'd walk away. So that ruined my karate dreams. But what I've been considering lately is jujitsu. And I'll tell you why. I want to confront my my claustrophobia. And that's all like wrestling in close quarters and you can't move something and whatever. And so I want to confront that because that's my last like big phobia that's still out there that kind of controls me sometimes, like with elevators and shit that I can't get into and stuff like that. So I think that's a good way to confront it.
And I think you should do it anyway because you wanted to do Chuck Norris. You wanted to commune. You can work on those issues.
I really did. But anyway, so I love Melinda's mom that she would just veg out and watch Walker Texas Ranger. I think that's hilarious and super cool, and I dig it. I really dig that about her. But like I said when we started, like I kind of like to distill my feelings about your episodes to a word or to a phrase or to whatever. And this one was just sadness because it was like one thing after another that outrage and pain and stuff came later after this core kind of sadness, like with the 6-year-old girl, having to make a 911 call, and having to go through perhaps the trauma of not being believed, which was a phrase that you used early, the trauma of not being believed, which is a legit thing, and that voicemail from a 6-year-old girl that was paraphrased. Oh man. And that it became evidence and that she had to go on the stand and all that. It was just, oh. And in your heart of hearts, do you feel like her testimony was coerced?
Well, I know what happened, so I'm biased, but
okay.
Even if I didn't know what happened, given the fact that she has a head injury, given the fact that, I mean, they didn't have any physical evidence. I mean,
here's what it is for me. Are you a 90210 fan?
No.
Beverly Hills 90210. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Will you stop judging me?
Are you even Gen X? Are you even Gen X?
You know what?
Okay.
I'm not even going to go here.
So there was Donna Martin, played by Tori Spelling. All right. And there was David, played by Brian Austin Green. Okay. And there was one episode where there was a bad guy, right? Like a serial rapist who was like going after these high school girls. Okay.
Yeah.
And Donna, when she was dating David, always called him David, would never nickname it out. Just David. Okay. And this was going on for years in the show. David. Yeah. Okay. Then one day, David comes to pick Donna up and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not quite ready. Come back later, Dave. I'll see you later, Dave." Okay. And he's like, "Oh, all right. We'll see you."
That was her signal to him.
Because the bad guy had her at like knife point. Okay.
Right.
And David picked up on it. And so he comes in there and beats the guy down. All right. So the fact that no one ever called him, she never called him Uncle Clarence. It was always Big Clarence. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, that would be the giveaway.
Yeah.
Because, in stressful times like that, right? Like Derek Jeter, the great New York Yankee, would say, he would always get mad when people would call him Captain Clutch. Wow, you really rose to the occasion in that game and got the hit. He goes, no one rises to the occasion. Under tense pressure and stress, you fall to your highest level of preparation. Okay.
I love that.
Right. And so this little girl is not going to, because there are strangers around, identify him as uncle. She's going to fall back to what she's used to and call him Big Clarence. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I completely agree. Absolutely. And that was, I mean, Melinda already knew, they'd been together forever since they were 18, they're in their 30s, they have kids together, your partner. And so she knew that he wasn't capable of doing this. And then on top of that, to get some of the details, and it's going to just kill you when you find out how she was allegedly coerced.
Wow. That's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
So, no, go ahead.
I mean, it's hard because like April, her sister with Melinda, and she was like, I have to give her credit because she believed her daughter. And in this case, so she wasn't believed, and April remembered that. April remembered how her big sister Melinda wasn't believed. And so she had to believe her daughter. Unfortunately, it's a tragic thing because the police, hung their hat on that, and there was no other corroborating evidence to support that.
I was surprised by that, to be honest. I was really, really surprised, genuinely surprised when you got to that point in the episode. And I was looking down at the time code. I went, wait, this is almost over. Is she going to 2-part this shit and not tell me? And you did. And you did. It's okay. It's okay. It had the desired effect because it left me wanting more. So bravo. But when you said that, is she going to say that he was fucking convicted on it? And he was. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. When the forensics team went to Melinda's place and checked the drains and checked everything for any type of evidence, of blood evidence or any DNA evidence that he would have left, because you got to be covered with blood doing some shit like that, right? Nothing. And the uncorroborated testimony of a 6-year-old girl with fucking head trauma, right? That had just been, I don't even want to talk about it, what had happened to this kid. And so, and she had to like, and I laughed a little bit when they said, when little Clarence was like, there's a bunch of shit going on next door, and next door is 2 acres away, right? I can almost touch it.
You're like such, I don't, it's not your worst nightmare. There are other nightmares but it's pretty high up there, right? Where you are awoken by a SWAT team and Uncle Clarence, your niece says this, and you're like, I didn't do it. And you're thinking, okay, this is a big mistake. It's going to be rectified. And then people start coming out of the woodwork saying, oh yeah, he didn't like his mother-in-law. And he's like, wait, what?
What the fuck are you talking? Right. I know that and keeping with the sadness kind of tack that I started on. What a way to find out that you lost your mother.
I know.
Where you have to wait a minute. They just said my husband is a suspect in the murder of his mother-in-law. That means my mom. Like, she had to sit there and figure it out. And she said she went into a standing fetal position and screamed. Right.
And then on top of that, she makes that phone call, and her family thinks that, you can just hear the way that phone call went down. Like, she's not even given a moment to grieve, that it's like, wait a second, they think I did this, instantly. Right. She's on the defensive. Because
they think that you're involved. Yeah, they think she's involved.
I mean, it's so like, it's kind of unbelievable.
It's tragedy stacked upon tragedy, stacked on like a really hard scrabble life for Melinda that started in the most inauspicious, like she was sold to a couple, thankfully a loving couple. But then her dad's gone by the time she's 6, right? And then kind of a bunch of stepdads come through, and some of them no bueno, okay? And then she still finds it within her to be able to trust a man and to get married and to start her own family, and great and good for her. And then this shit happens. So it's I hope there's an ending that makes me go, fuck yeah. I really do.
Is.
Okay.
There is.
All right, good.
I have to tell you, because that is why it's a redemptive story.
Okay.
Because otherwise it would just be
yeah. Because so far, I mean, I kept looking through my database for loser game show sound. Wah, 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 wah.
I mean, it just is like, it's just part 2. Just wait.
Yeah, good. I can't wait for part 2. So bravo to you for the access that you had for this. That was great. Was that difficult to line up the interviews that you got, or?
Well, I basically just talked to Melinda, and it was great because, she, her and I we talked for like 2.5 hours, and it was incredibly difficult, to hear. And that's why I included that part up front, that I wanted, as people were listening, I wanted them to know that, she wanted to tell this story, and that, so often in true crime, it's like, they're telling this, it's like ripping a scab off, where they could, every time they tell the story, it's like another piece of their soul is chipped away, because it's really painful to talk about.
It seems like she's empowered by it, because she's a speaker. She identifies herself as like a motivational speaker, I think she said, or on the speaking tour about this.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still so raw, because so much has happened. And there was multiple times when she started crying, and it was like, as an interviewer, you want to make sure that they feel safe. And so I was checking in with her throughout. And, that's when she said, this is cathartic for me, because, it goes into that zone of voyeurism in terms of like, tell me the worst day, tell me all about your, horrible life, and that's not what this is about. But you have to know what her life was to truly appreciate what she was able to accomplish. And I think that that's what makes it like, a courageous story.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. I can't wait to see how it ends. And empowerment of women, man, I'll tell you, that's the strength of any modern society, can be judged by how much empowerment the women in their society are granted, and I think that
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. And Melinda's a great example of that. She is just determined and just shakes off all of the shit.
And that's what I left you with. I'm surprised. Like, I'm sure you were like so curious about the DNA collection with like, wait until you hear this. Oh,
yeah, I'm telling you, the shock ending for me was that they convicted this poor guy.
I know.
That again brings into question our entire justice system and what happens. So,
and then think about the people who've been in for 30, 40 years.
I know that it's almost weekly now that there are these exonerations. It's tough. It's really, really tough. Well, listen, looking forward to next week. Well done. This was a tough one to listen to, but I trust you that it's ultimately redemptive. So I'm looking forward to that.
You can absolutely take that to the bank.
All right, great. And
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Wait a second. Got a question for you before. Did you watch the X-Files?
Yeah, I was an X-Files guy.
When you were okay, all right.
In my 20s.
Trying to reconcile 90210.
Say that again.
Like 90210. Like I wouldn't have pegged you as like a Beverly Hills 90210 guy.
No, I honestly it was on so much in the house because I was dating a girl who loved the show.
Oh my gosh.
No, he loved the show. She loved the show.
I get it. You also were going to believe in fairies after that one, like
that. The things that I've done for the women in my life, the things that I've done. Yeah. I'm not proud of it. From saying fairies in the garden might be real to no, it was a great fucking show.
You just tried to shame me because I wasn't into 90210.
Yes. And you are deserving of the shame for your lack of Chuck Norris knowledge. That's just a fact. It's just a fact.
That's your fact, but I'm just saying, like, you were so like going off on me about 90210, and as we find out, there's a little bit more to that story. Because I'm like, there's no way he's a 90210 guy. There's no way. Chuck Norris, I believe that. 90210.
It's weird living in LA. Funny things about like living here. It's like one of the actors from 90210 used to go to like the 7-Eleven where I used to go and play pinball all the time. And so I would see it, it was just like, oh, you're just like a normal jack-off on the street coming in for cigarettes. You're not like teen idol, whatever, just a normal person. So that really, it really normalizes a lot of stuff, seeing celebrities like in their car at a stoplight picking their nose, right? It just really equalizes everything. So that's one of the good things about living here. But yeah, so not a fan of 90210, but very familiar with the show. Massive fan of Chuck Norris, and I'll make it my mission that you also respect the genius of the man and his place in the zeitgeist of American pop culture forever. And we'll work on that. We'll work on it.
put together your set list and I'll put together one of mine.
Oh, I will. And I want I maybe some book reports or some kind of movie reviews or something.
Yeah. I think that they have a documentary on Lilith Fair that you should see.
Oh gosh. Oh Jesus. Okay, yeah, can't wait. I'll get right on that. Okay. So that wraps up another bonus episode of the Murder Chronicles. Thank you all for joining us. Please consider supporting the great companies that support our show. They make it possible for us to do what we do. Carolyn, another wonderful episode. Looking forward to next week. You have anything to add?
No, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate your support, and thank you.
And congrats again on Pie in the Sky Media, launching your own thing, hanging your own shingle. And look out for more from Pie in the Sky Media in the future. You're going to do great. You're going to do great things. All right. Thank you, everybody. And we hope you catch up with us next week. Take care.
The Murder Chronicles is a Pie in the Sky production recorded live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We are produced by Brandon Morgan and myself, music by Soundstripe. For Pie in the Sky Media, I'm Carolyn Osorio, your writer and host. Thanks for listening.